All right. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaya Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Uttapadakamalam Sri Guru Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvetam Sagadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Vishakan Vidamscha. Hey Krishna Kaduna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagat Pate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hare Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubheva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivashari Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Cheva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudiraye Nashtapreshu Abradeshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhakti Bhavati Naishtaki. Jai Sri Krishna.
Jai Shri Krishna, Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. We are reading the Srimad Bhagavatam. We are on Canto 2, Chapter 10. Chapter 10 is Bhagavatam is the answer to all questions. And I can read the Sanskrit. Mataji, would you like to read the Sanskrit as well for today's text?
Mataji, I'm no good at the Sanskrit, and I don't have my book with me.
Okay,
Right
so
today.
I'll read the Sanskrit and then Hare Krishna, Bhakta Mugo. How are you?
Hare Krishna, Prof. I'm fine, thank you.
We are on 10:10, so I'll read the Sanskrit and the translation, and it's a long purport, so if you can help me with the purport, we'll start reading the purport till Mataji joins. Will you be able to read the purport?
Yeah, no problem.
So let me start with the Sanskrit. Purushodnyam vinirбhedya yada shausa vinigrataha Atmano yanam avichan aposkrakshik charit shuchi. Purusha, the Supreme Person. Paramatma. Okay, so Purusha is Paramatma. Andam, the universe. Vinirvidya, making them each separately situated. Yada, when. Asau, the same. Saha, he, the Lord. Vinigata, came out. Atmana, of himself. Ayanam, lying in place. Avi, Anvichan, desiring. Apha, water. Ashra, Sit, created. Suchi, the most pure. Suchi, transcendental. Translation by Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. After separating the different universes, the gigantic universal form of the Lord, Mahavishnu, which came out of the causal ocean, the place of appearance for the first Purusha avatar, entered into each of the separate universes, desiring to lie on the created transcendental water, Garbhodaksha. Hare Krishna. Is it okay to read the
Hare
purport?
Krishna. Yes. So purport by His Divine Grace, Bhaktivedanta Sri Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. After analysis of the living entities and the Supreme Lord, Para-Atma, the independent source of all living beings, Srila Sukadev Goswami is now presenting the prime necessity for devotional service to the Lord, which is the only occupational business of all living entities. The Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna, and all his planetary portions, an extension of planetary portions, are non-different from one another, and thus the supreme independence is in each and every one of them. In order to prove this, Sukadev Goswami has promised to King Parikshit, describe herein the independence of Purusha Avatar, personality of Godhead, even in the sphere of material creation. Such activities of the Lord are also transcendental, and therefore they are also Leela, or pastimes, of the Absolute Lord. Such pastimes of the Lord are very conducive for the hearer of self-realization in the field of devotional service. Some may argue, then why not relish transcendental Leela of the Lord as exhibited in the land of Madhura and Vrindavan, which are sweeter than anything in the world? Srila Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakura replies that the pastimes of the Lord in Vrindavan are meant to be relished by advanced devotees of the Lord. Neophyte devotees will misunderstand such supreme transcendental activities of the Lord, and therefore the Lord pastimes in the material sphere related to creation, maintenance, and destruction are verily relishable by the Prakrita, all mundane devotees of the Lord. As the yoga system mainly based on the bodily exercises is meant for the person who is too much attached for the bodily conception of existence, similarly, the Lord pastimes related to the creation and destruction of the material world are for those who are too materially attached. For such mundane creatures, the function of the body and the function of the cosmic world through physical laws in relationship with the Lord are also therefore included in understanding of the lawmaker, the supreme personality of Godhead. The scientists explain the material functions by so many technological terms of material law, but such blind scientists forget the lawmaker. The Srimad Bhagavatam points out the lawmaker. One should not be amazed by mechanical arrangement of complicated engine or dynamo, but one should praise the engineer who creates such wonderful workings of the working machine. That is the difference between the devotee and the non-devotee. Devotees are always full with praising the Lord, with who directs the physical laws. In the Bhagavad Gita 9:10, the direction of the Lord upon the material nature is described as follows. Mayadhya Krishnana Prakriti Suyate Sakara Saram Putenanena Kautenya Jagat Pira Vipa Rivarte Tate. The material nature, full of physical laws, is one of my different energies. Therefore, it is neither independent nor blind, because I am transcendentally all-powerful. Simply by glancing over material nature, the physical laws of nature work so wonderfully. The actions and reactions of the physical laws work on that account. And thus, the material world is created, maintained, and annihilated again and again. Men with a poor fund of knowledge, however, become astonished by studying the physical laws both within the construction of the individual body and within the cosmic manifestation. And foolishly, they decry the existence of God, taking it for granted that the physical laws are independent, without any metaphysical control. The Bhagavad Gita 9:11 replies to this foolishness in the following words. Avajananti ma mudha manusim tanum asritam param bhavan ajanantol mama bhuta maheshvaram. The foolish men, Mudha, do not know the personality of Godhead in his eternal form of bliss and knowledge. The foolish man thinks of transcendental body of the Lord as something like his own, and therefore he cannot think of the unlimited controlling power of the Lord, who is not visible in the acting of the physical laws. The Lord is, however, visible to the naked eyes of people in general when he descends himself by his own personal potency. Lord Krishna incarnated himself as he parts as the Lord himself, and the Bhagavad Gita concerns such wonderful actions and knowledge. Yet foolish men will not accept Lord Krishna. Yet foolish men will not accept Lord Krishna as the Supreme Lord. Generally, they consider the infinitesimal and the infinite features of the Lord because they themselves are unable to become either the infinitesimal or the infinite. But one should know that the infinite and the infinitesimal sizes of the Lord are not his highest glories. The most wonderful manifestations of the Lord's power is exhibited when the infinite Lord become visible to our eyes as one of us. Yet, his activities are different from those of the finite beings. Lifting a mountain at the age of 7 and marrying 16,000 wives in his prime of his youth are some of the examples of his infinite energy. But the mothers, after seeing them or hearing about them, decry themselves as legendary and take the Lord as one of them. They cannot understand that the Lord Sri Krishna, although in the form of a human being, by his own potency, is still the Supreme Lord with full potency as the Supreme Controller. When, however, the mothers give submissive and oral reception to the messages of the Lord, as in the Srimad Bhagavad Gita or in the Srimad Bhagavatam, through the channel of disciplic succession, such mothers also become devotees of the Lord by the grace of his pure devotees. And for this reason only, either in the Bhagavad Gita or in the Srimad Bhagavatam, the pastimes of the Lord in the material world are delineated for the benefit of those men. Thank you for the opportunity. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you very much, Peter. Hare Krishna, Mataji, Danvat Pranam, please accept my humble obeisances. And Danvat Pranam from everybody who have joined the group and are about to join or will be hearing this later on. Mataji, thank you very much for your time. I know it is quite challenging. You are at work and still giving us this service. We really appreciate. Mataji, we are reading the Srimad Bhagavatam. We are on Canto 2, Canto 2, Chapter 10, Text 10. And Chapter 2 is the Bhagavatam, is the answer to all questions. We have read the text, translation, and purport. Over to you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Mataji, you're muted. We can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, now we can hear you. Hare
Okay.
Krishna.
Hare. Om Agyanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvisheshe Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarani Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gauravakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam. Tam Cheva Narotam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayam Hudire Srinivata Swakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtanaha Hridayantastohi Abhadrani Vidunuti Subrit Sadam Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevika Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhakti Bhavati Nashtiki. Hare Krishna. So we are now entering into the 10th chapter of the second canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. And as always, I would like to do a recap before we get into today's verse. So let's get started with the first verse of the chapter 10, canto 2. Okay. Then we'll also try to see our Acharya's commentaries if possible as we go with the chapter. Okay, dear devotees. So the first. So even before that, before entering into even the 10th chapter, what happened was in 2.9, if you look at text 43, Brahmaji heard Srimad Bhagavatam from the Lord, and he gave this knowledge to whom? His son Narada Muni, who in turn gave it to whom? Vyasadeva on the bank of Saraswati river, and Vyasadeva gave it to whom? Shukadeva Goswami. So dear devotees, please keep this in mind. I'll repeat it again. Brahmaji heard Srimad Bhagavatam directly from the Lord. That is what is Chatushloki Bhagavatam. And then he gave this knowledge to whom? His son Narada. And Narada gave it to whom? Narada gave it to Vyasadeva. And where did he give it? On the bank of Saraswati river. And Vyasadeva gave it to whom? He gave it to Shukadeva Goswami. All right. So this is the order. When Brahmaji gave to Narada, he talked about, we hear about the 10 characteristics of the Purana. This is what they are. These 10 characteristics of the Purana are discussed in this 10th chapter. Why was this 10th chapter started? Because the 10 characteristics of the Purana were mentioned in the end of 9th chapter. Now, our dear Sukadeva Goswami is going to elaborate these characteristics, these 10 characteristics. So that is what is the point. Are you able to see the connection? At the end of 2.9, we saw what? We saw the 10 characteristics of the Purana. And why is this 10th chapter started? This chapter is started because now Sukadeva Goswami, he is going to elaborate on that 10 characteristics. Okay. So the first verse translation goes like this. Sri Sukadeva Goswami said, in Srimad Bhagavatam, there are 10 divisions of statements regarding the following. That is the creation of the universe, sub-creation, planetary systems, protection by the Lord, the creative impetus, the change of the Manus, the signs of God, reaching home, back to Godhead, liberation, and Sammanponam. So what are the 10 characteristics in Sanskrit? Sarga, Visarga, Sthanam, Poshanam, Utayaha, Manmantara, Ishanukata, Nirodha, Mukti, Ashraya. So now, what is the meaning of these 10 characteristics? Right? Srimad Bhagavatam is consisting of these 10 characteristics. This book covers the 10 topics and it's called the Purana. And all Mahapuranas, they describe these 10 characteristics. What are the Mahapuranas? Padma Purana, Brahma Purana, all of them, they describe these 10 characteristics. Amongst them, Srimad Bhagavatam is also one of the Mahapuranas which describes this 10 lakshanas or topics or characteristics. You are able to understand, dear devotees? So now we will learn about each of them. Moving on to second verse. To isolate the transcendence of the sum and bonum, the symptoms of the rest are described, and sometimes by Vedic inference, and sometimes by direct explanation, and sometimes by summary. Explanations are given by the great sages. Now, as we understood, this Srimad Bhagavatam has 10 topics, and they are discussed here and there in various chapters. That means one canto may have one or more of these topics. And now we are going to know the definition of these topics. Why are we supposed to know the definition of the topics? Because otherwise we cannot identify them, right? To identify, say for example, to identify any object, we need to define that object, right? What do we need to define the object? We need unique characteristics or unique qualities or characteristics of that objects are needed. In order to define that object, right? We need unique characteristics of that object. Example, say for example, there is an object cow. We need to define it. If an animal has 4 legs, then there are so many animals that have 4 legs. They are also included. And therefore, we need to know what is the unique quality of a cow. For that, we have to say the animal which is 4-legged and has the dulab. That is unique for the cow. And that is how we define a cow. Now, we need to define each of these 10 topics in order to identify where they appear in Srimad Bhagavatam, isn't it? We need to understand so that we are able to identify, yes, this comes in 6th canto, this comes, Utaya comes in this chapter, that like that we are able to correlate. And again, we have to have the definition of the first 9 topics in order to separate them from the 10th topic. This is the point, dear devotees. If we don't identify these 9 topics, then we will not be able to see the 10th topic, which is different from the remaining 9 topics. You're able to understand. So the purpose of identifying the 9 objects is to isolate the 10th topic. To see the 10th one separately, we need to know the remaining 9 also. Hope you're with me. The purpose is to know the 10th one, okay? But the 10th one can be identified perfectly by knowing the remaining 9 topics, so that we are able to isolate and say, yes, I understand. Now, what is the 10th topic? You're able to understand. So, in these first 9 topics or characteristics, they're all related to Jivatma. Why they are related to Jivatma? That is because they are discussing about majorly the creation, maintenance, and destruction. They are meant for the sake of Jiva. That is why the first 9 topics are related to the Jivatma. As I mentioned earlier, the purpose of knowing this 9 is to understand the 10th. Ultimately, the book is focused on the Srimad Bhagavatam is focused on Ashraya Tattvam. That is the 10th. And if we don't know the remaining 9 topics, then we may also take them to be the 10th one. If we don't know what is silver and you know only what is gold, then we may mistake the silver to be gold also, isn't it? We can't mistake the 10th topic to be one amongst the 9 topics. And this 10th topic, specifically the Ashraya Tattvam, is described by the Mahatmas. Who are the Mahatmas in Srimad Bhagavatam? We see Vidura, we see Maitreya, we see Sukadev Goswami. They all describe this 10th topic either directly through prayers or sometimes through the 10th topic through stories, right? The 10th topic is Lord Shri Krishna. In stories, they may set out, but the conclusion, they may be talking about many things, but then the conclusion will be Krishna. So it could be Shrutena or Artena. Shrutena means directly, or Artena means conclusion of discussion or topic. The conclusion will be whom? Krishna. That is how these topics are discussed. So this is the second verse. The meaning of the second verse is what we spoke about now. Okay? Now we are moving on to the third verse, dear devotees. And I think I may have time only to cover this third verse, because there is so much spoken about in the third verse. Let's see, depending upon the time, we will go slowly, okay? I really don't know how long it will take, but bear with me, dear devotees. This is very important. Again, this particular sloka will be discussed in third canto, fifth chapter also. There also will be saying it, but you definitely need to know at some point the creation aspect, right? So that's why I think we may need to spend a little bit more on the third verse. Please listen carefully. So the third verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th chapter, second canto. The elementary creation of 16 items of matter, namely the 5 elements, fire, water, land, air, and sky, sound and form, taste, smell, touch, and the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, skin, and mind, is known as sarga. Whereas the subsequent resultant interaction of the modes of material nature is called visarga. Again, Srila Prabhupada's translation talks about sarga and visarga. Okay, dear devotees. Now, as I said, we must know the characteristic of a cow and a buffalo. Otherwise, what will happen? We will mistake a cow for a buffalo and buffalo for a cow. Okay, these 9 are not our goal. 10th is our goal, or 10th is the topic. To isolate the 10th, we are having to understand the characteristics of the 9. Now, sarga. Sarga means creation of the elements. So now we can look at the process, how this happens. So maybe if you're hearing this for the first time, you have to probably listen. I'll try to repeat it 2-3 times till it gets to your mind. And then we can move slowly, okay? Because I don't know how far you have registered this into your heart or mind. But either ways, we will try to do this repetitively so you're able to get it over onto your heart. All right. So now we have Karnodaksha Vishnu glancing on Prakriti. Because Karnodaksha Vishnu is glancing on Prakriti, she's becoming agitated and she gets pregnant. Okay. The pregnant state of Prakriti is called Pradhan. See, now somebody is glancing. Imagine somebody is glancing on our Karnodaksha Vishnu is who is glancing on Prakriti. As a result, she becomes agitated. Somebody is glancing, so she becomes agitated. And this agitated state is called the pregnant state. And the pregnant state of Prakriti is nothing but Pradhan. Now, when somebody is pregnant, baby has to be born. The baby born is called Mahat. Okay? You're able to understand? So first step is Karnodaksha Vishnu is glancing on Prakriti. Because of it, she becomes agitated and becomes pregnant. And the pregnant state of Prakriti is called Pradhan. And the baby that is born is called Mahat. With me so far? And from there, ego is produced, dear devotees. And this ego is threefold. Okay? The ego is what? Threefold. So there is Tamasika Ahankara, there is Rajasika Ahankara, and there is Satvika Ahankara. First, we look at Tamasika Ahankara. Tamasika Ahankara, from Tamasika Ahankara comes Panchabhutas, which is gross elements. What are the gross elements? Earth, water, fire, air, ether. They are the gross elements. And then comes the sense objects, that is Pancha Tanmatras. What are they? The sense, that is taste, form, touch, sound. Okay, these are what is produced. Smell, taste, form, touch, and sound. These are produced. These are Pancha Tanmatras. So from Tamasika Ahankara, we have gross element and the Pancha Tanmatras, which are the sense objects. Sense objects meaning smell, taste, form, touch, and sound. Now, coming to Rajasika Ahankara, from Rajasika Ahankara comes Pancha Nanendriyas, which is nose, tongue, eyes, skin, and ear. You're able to understand what are it? What are they? Nose, tongue, eyes, skin, and ear. And Pancha Karmendriyas. They are nothing but 5 working senses. They are hands, they are legs, they are genitals, rectum, and tongue. Okay, they are the 5. And it also, the Rajasika Hankara, from the Rajasika Hankara also comes intelligence. Okay, dear devotees, so Panchanyanendriyas, which are the nose, tongue, eyes, skin, and ear. And then Pancha Karmendriyas, which are nothing but 5 working senses: hands, legs, genitals, rectum, and tongue. And the Rajasika Hankara also includes the intelligence. Also has the intelligence. And then from the Satvika Hankara comes the mind and the controlling deities of the senses. Now, you all can understand that through the 24 elements, through the glance of Karnodakshay Vishnu, 24 elements are produced. Right? These are the 24 elements that we spoke about. And production of these 24 elements is called Sarga. Are you all with me, dear devotees? So, we have Karnodakshay Vishnu glancing on Prakriti, and because of this, Prakriti is becoming agitated, and then she comes to a pregnant state. The pregnant state of Prakriti is Pradhan, and the baby that is born out of Pradhan is Mahat, and from there, ego is produced, and this ego is of 3 types or 3-fold, and those are Tamasika Hankara, Rajasika Hankara, and Satvika Hankara. So as you all can understand, by the glance of Karnodakshay Vishnu, we are able to from the glance of Karnodakshay Vishnu, we are able to see that 24 elements are produced. The production of these 24 elements is called Sarga. Yeah. And now, what is Visarga? Because those are the 2 things that are described in this purport, right? We saw what is Sarga, and then we are now going to see what is Visarga. That is, just as a short statement, if you were to ask what Visarga is, it is nothing but it is the creation of Brahmaji. Okay? So, now what happened after the production of these 24 elements? The Lord is now sending his Samhanana Sakti into these elements. Into these 24 elements, he's sending some Shakti that is called Samhanana Shakti, and many Brahmandas are formed because of that. Our Brahmanda, if you look at it, its diameter is 500 million yojanas, and it has 7 layers, which is earth, water, fire, air, ether, and Mahat. Okay? And Lord's Bibrit Shakti, that is Samhanana Shakti, brings these 24 elements together. Like how water, it brings the flower together to make a ball of dough. Like that, these 24 elements are brought together by the Brit Shakti of the Lord, or Samhanana Shakti. Okay? Now, okay, you're able to understand, right? We saw there is 24 elements produced, and the 24, after the production of the 24 elements, the Lord sent his Shakti, that is Bibrit Shakti or Samhanana Shakti, into these elements. So many Brahmandas are formed. And then we saw about how much is the diameter of our Brahmanda and how many layers it has. And this is just like a water that brings the flower together, right? Into a ball of dough. How are we making that dough? The dough is possible because of water's presence, right? Like that, that's Lord Shakti that is responsible for bringing 4 elements together, and then the Brahmandas are being formed because of that. Now, this Lord entered Brahmanda as Garbhodakshay Vishnu, fills half of it with his perspiration. You are able to understand? That is called Garbhodaka ocean. This is important. Inside the Brahmanda also, the 24 elements are present. Okay, dear devotees. Now, what is the Lord doing? After he gives the Shakti, the 24 elements formed, and then we have the Brahmanda. The Lord enters into the Brahmanda as who? As Garbhodakshay Vishnu, and fills half of it with his perspiration, and that is called Garbhodaka ocean. And you can imagine that inside the Brahmanda also the 24 elements are present, just like that of an egg yolk. Okay? And then the Lord likes to sleep in new places. That is why he enters each universe as Garbhodaksha Vishnu and sleeps. He keeps these 24 elements in his womb for how many years? 1,000 years. Now, just as the union of male and female results in a mixture of male and female liquids and forms an egg, right? When the union happens, an egg is formed, which is kept in the mother. In the first month, what happens? Some apertures are formed, heart is formed, then life air is formed. And because of it, its circulation, thirst and hunger are generated. And because of this, there is a hole, which is the mouth, that is formed. There is a desire for speech, and hence the vocal cords are formed. Hearing, we have the ears. For smelling, we have the nose. In this way, in the course of 9 months, all the various holes and limbs are formed. Are you with me, dear devotees? Now, we just spoke about the fact of Garbhodaksha Vishnu liking to sleep in different new places. He enters the universe and then he sleeps. And then what does he do? He keeps these 24 elements in his womb for 1,000 years. And now, just as the union of male and female would result in a mixture of male and female liquids and forms an egg, this is kept in the womb of the mother. Just like that, in the first month, as we can see, different organs are formed, different apertures are formed. And in this way, in due course of 9 months, there are various holes and limbs that are formed. And in the same way, in the course of 1,000 years, in the womb of Garbhodaksha Vishnu, Virata is formed. The Virata is actually coming out of the womb of Garbhodaksha Vishnu. Through the navel in the lotus stem. Through his navel in the lotus stem comes the Virata. And when Karmodaksha Vishnu glanced on Prakriti, Jivatma, along with the karma and avidya, also enter into Prakriti. Okay, you're able to understand, dear devotees. This is a very important point. What happens when Karmodaksha Vishnu glances on Prakriti? The Jivatma, along with his karma and avidya, they enter Prakriti. Okay, so in Karmodaksha Vishnu, the Jivatmas are actually lying along with their karma and avidya. Now, we all understand the role of avidya is that the Jivatma is not able to know who he is. Normally, being a Chit Padatha, the Jivatma is able to know himself as Jivatma. But because he is covered by avidya, he is not able to know himself as a soul. That's the point. Just as the eye has the ability to see, but when it's covered in darkness, it is not able to see. That is how avidya is. Because of avidya, you are not able to know, yes, I am the soul, I am the servant of Krishna. No, you are not able to know that fact. And this Jivatma is also accompanied by his karma. We all have our karma that we carry along with us. And Jivatma has the karma and avidya in it. And they enter into Prakriti now. When Karnodaksha Vishnu glanced on Prakriti, the Jivas also enter into Prakriti. And we all know, when Karnodaksha Vishnu glanced on Prakriti, these 24 elements are also produced. And then they were present as chunk inside the universe, and then they enter into the womb of Garbhodaksha Vishnu. And now, when Virata is born, these Jivatmas, along with their karma, are in Brahmaji. These Jivatmas need to be given bodies according to their karma, right? And that is where Brahmaji comes into play. Brahmaji will give the body according to people's karma. This is called Visarga. Hope you are able to understand, dear devotees, what is Sarga and what is Visarga. After 100 years of Brahmaji, all the jivas and the elements again enter into Karnodaksha Vishnu once again. We all know the measurement of Brahmaji's life, right? It is 30 days, 1 month, 12 months is 1 year and 100 years. And 1 day of Brahma is 1000 Mahayugas or Chaturyugas. One night of Brahmaji is 1000 Mahayugas or Chaturyugas. And one Chaturyuga is one Satya, Treta, Dwapara and Kali Yuga put together. In this way, why I'm saying this is because after 100 years of Brahmaji, all the jivas enter into Karnodaksha Vishnu. So we saw what is Sarga and what is Visarga. Are you all clear, dear devotees? How, what is Sarga and what is Visarga?
Hare Krishna Mataji, can I ask, sorry, but can I ask you to repeat because my internet went away, so I didn't hear. So from Visarga, which is the secondary creation of the Brahma, there is a Samhana Shakti, and just like how with the flour, you put water and a dough is formed, that is it. And then I got lost till Jivatma is covered by Avidya.
Yeah, yes. I'll repeat it once again because without knowing this, we cannot even proceed to other verses. That's why I want to make sure that all these verses are understood. This will again be repeated in 3rd canto, 5th chapter. But before that, we are also, this 2nd chapter is also giving us an overview. So the understanding creation is very important that way. I'll just repeat that, that part of the Sarga, okay? Now, we saw what is Sarga. As Mataji said, now the question is what happened after the production of these 24 elements? The 24 elements are formed, we understood that. And that is when Lord sends his Shakti into these elements and through which different Brahmandas are formed. And then our Brahmanda has a measurement. It is 500 million yojanas and has 7 layers in it. And this Lord's Bibrit Shakti is what binds the 24 elements together. Just like how water binds the flour, like that, and through which we get the dough, like that, Lord Shakti, without Lord Shakti, nothing is going to happen. That's the point, dear devotees. Why is Lord Shakti coming into play? And this is the reason why what brings the 24 elements together. And then Lord enters the Brahmanda as Garbhodaksha Vishnu. And what does he do? He fills half of that Brahmanda with his perspiration. And his perspiration is, that's what is called the Garbhodaka ocean. And we should also imagine that these 24 elements are present inside each of the Brahmanda. And I spoke about the fact that Lord likes to sleep in new places. That is why he likes to enter into the universe as Garbhodaksha Vishnu. And because of this, he sleeps. And sleeps there because he likes to sleep. And then he keeps these 24 elements that are there. He keeps that in his womb for how many years? 1000 years. Okay. And then we saw the union of male and female. It results in a male liquid, male and a female liquid. And from that comes the egg which is kept in the womb of the mother. So in the first month, we see different kinds of apertures are formed. Like first a heart is formed, life air is created, and because we have because of the circulation of air, there is thirst and hunger that gets generated. And because there is thirst and hunger, a hole was formed that is called the mouth, through which the aspect of thirst and hunger could be taken care of. And then there was a desire for speech, because of which vocal cords were created, and then hearing, smelling, for which we need the ears and the organ called nose for smelling. In this way, in the course of 9 months, there are various holes and limbs that are formed. Okay. And in the same way, in the course of these 1000 years, as we understood, 1000 years, the 24 elements are kept in the womb of Garbhodaksha Vishnu. So in the course of 1000 years, in the womb of Garbhodaksha Vishnu, Virata is formed. Just like how a baby is formed due to the union of male and female, like that, Virata is formed. Okay. And now this Virata comes out of the womb of Garbhodaksha Vishnu through his navel in the lotus step. Now we all have to get back to our point. See, Karnodaksha Vishnu is glancing on Prakriti. At that time, the Jivatma, along with his karma and avidya, also enter into Prakriti. Okay. The role of avidya is what I clarified. It is just making us not able to understand who we are. Normally, a Chit Padatha, Jivatma is able to know himself as Jivatma because he is a Chit Padatha. But because of him being covered with avidya, he is not able to know who am I. He is not able to know. Just as the eye has the ability to see, but when it's covered with when it's in the darkness, it's just not able to see. That is the comparison for avidya. And then this Jivatma is also accompanied by his karma. So now the Jivatmas have to be given the bodies according to their karma. So Brahmaji is the one who gives the body to the Jivatma as per their karma. And this giving of bodies to different to the different species, that is called Visarga as per their karma. Now, after the 100 years of Brahmaji's lifetime, all these jiva and the elements, they enter into Karnodaksha Vishnu once again. Okay, dear devotee, that is called Visarga. Any questions?
Yes, Mataji, one question. So when you said the Virata is formed from the navel of Garbhodakshaya in the lotus, but I thought Brahmaji was formed. Is Virata the same as Brahmaji now?
No. Brahmaji is not same as Virata. So, like the baby in the womb, that is coming out. That is the Virata. Okay. And this is, as I said, this Virata is, this is Virata is compared to that of a baby in the womb. That's how you should imagine. Like how Garbhodakshaya Vishnu is having these 24 elements. The 24 elements is the Prakriti, right? That's got from the Prakriti. And the Lord is there. See, imagine Lord being the male and then the Prakriti, the 24 elements being the female. Now the union of male and female happens, because of which the Virata is formed. That comes in the that comes as in the form of Virata, and we saw there are so many apertures that are formed, and then that there comes the Virata. Now, when with regards to Brahmaji, how it is it's nothing but in the navel of the Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, there is a lotus stem from which Brahmaji comes. You are able to understand? That is Brahmaji. And
So
then
Virata is in the womb.
Correct.
Virata.
Virata is in the womb of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. He is in the womb, and from the navel on the lotus stem comes the Brahmaji.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Okay, very good. So that is what it is. Hope you all understood this particular section of creation, that is Sarga and Visarga. And entering into the fourth verse. We have 10 more minutes, so we can go into the fourth verse and see how much we can cover. Okay. Anyways, if you understood this till now, it's very good. Okay. This forms as a base, I would say, for our future classes. Okay. Anyways, the fourth verse, according to Srila Prabhupada's translation, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So it says, the right situation of the living entities is to obey the laws of the Lord and thus be perfect in peace of mind under the protection of the Supreme Personality of God. The Manus and their laws are meant to give right direction in life. The impetus for activity is the desire for fruitful work. Now, sthanam, sthiti, maintenance, because obviously you need a place to maintain yourself. Therefore, sthanam means maintenance. Okay. I'll just try to explain a few things from the verse. There is Vaikunta Vijayaha, there is Poshanam, there is Tad Anugraha. In the verse, there are so many terminologies that are used. And what is the meaning of these terminologies? I would like you to understand, because I would like to bring up one important point from this. as you all know, Sthiti means Palanam. Palanam means Vaikunta Vijayaha. That is the translation according to our Acharya. That means victory of Vishnu. Vaikunta Vijayaha is victory of Vishnu. That is Palanam. And Vaikunta Vijayaha, because since Vishnu is able to do the Palanam, that is why he's even superior to Brahma and Shiva. So per the commentary, it is Palanam is not easy. Creation and destruction are very easy. Okay. Sthiti will happen after creation. That is Sarga and Visharga. And Vishnu is maintaining all these jivas. And Palanam is done by Vishnu. This is one meaning he gives. I'll again repeat it, dear devotees. He says, Sthanam, that is Sthiti, is maintenance. Because you need a place to maintain. And Sthanam means maintenance. So he gives the meaning of Sthiti to be Palanam. And Palanam is what? Vaikunta Vijayaha. It means victory of Vishnu. And Vaikunta Vijayaha, why? Because since Vishnu is able to do the maintenance or Palanam, that is why he is superior to Brahma and Krishna. And there is a mention that Palanam is not easy. Creation and destruction are easy. And Sthiti will happen after every creation. That is Sarga and Visarga. And Vishnu is the one who's maintaining all these jivas. This Palanam is done by Vishnu, and it's not at all easy. And another meaning that our Acharya gives of Vaikunta Vijayaha is reducing the miseries of the Jivatma. For that, just like water has the Shakti of quenching the thirst, and food has the capacity of satisfying hunger. How do they have this Shakti? That is because Paramatma is the one who invests this potency in them. He's not partial. He enters everyone everywhere and sanctions the facilities according to their karma, isn't it? Like how a king gives it to the citizens. That is how this Paramatma is the quality or Shakti to that particular ingredient or particular object, that so as to speak. He's giving the water the ability to quench the thirst. He's giving food the ability to satisfy our hunger. You're able to understand. He enters everyone and sanctions facilities according to people's karma. This is maintenance or sthanam. That is what is Vaikunta Vijayaha, which is reducing the miseries of the Jivatma. Okay. Now, we can also go through some purports of Srila Prabhupada and understand this in the next class. Okay. Because I would like to get into the concept of Vaikunta Vijayaha even more. There are two meanings we saw. How the two meanings, one is maintenance, another one is reducing the miseries of the Jivatma. We can also go into our purports and understand this further, dear devotees. And then next concept will be Poshanam. And then, we will see other concepts also as we just go into the other classes. Okay. But for now, we'll stop here because I really don't want to overload you with a lot of, it's a heavy concept. Once we understand this, we should just keep that in the mind. Till our next class, you can keep revising the same concept, and then we'll come back to learning about Vaikunta Vijayaha, Poshanam, and all that. Now we are understanding each and everything separately. Why? Because we have to understand the characteristic Ashraya Tattvam, 10th one. To separate that, we need to understand these 9. That is the point. Okay. The goal is to understand Krishna. For that, we need to separate. Okay, this is this is that. And then I understand, okay, Ashraya Tattvam is this. The conclusion is Krishna. That is what is important. And for that, we have to separate all this, understand each one thoroughly, and then go into the 10th topic. Okay. Anyways, dear devotees, we will stop here. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhye evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Ananta koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and our spiritual master. All glories to our Acharya. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Mataji. We love your class because you just go to the basis and then build us up. And this is very important because this is an important chapter and the understanding, the real understanding is vital. I have asked my questions, but I'm sure there might be other questions, so we open it up to the group. Are there any questions or comments from the other devotees? Hare Krishna, kindly unmute and ask your question.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you so much. Whatever it was you were saying sounds so sweet. I came in late, so I didn't quite follow it right through to ask any questions. But as you say, if you're going to continue with it, I shall love to listen to it.
Yes, if possible, listen to this recording, Mataji. This will at least clarify your doubts on Sarga and Visarga. Hopefully, when we can go into others and delve deep into others in the next classes.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mataji, for opening the floor for us, because sometimes we're always rushed, aren't we?
Sure. No problem.
Cool.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, are there any other questions or comments?
Yeah, Hare Krishna Mataji, just a comment to say that this is well, for me, this is not an easy chapter to absorb, but at least I feel motivated to go now and really read it again slowly to absorb the contents. And your explanations today were nicely done. So it's motivated me quite a bit to go back and read this. So thank you so much.
Good, Mataji. Definitely, this chapter is not easy, and we have to pray to our acharyas and pray to our spiritual masters, so we understand just a teeny tiny bit of it, and then again the conclusion is Krishna. So we will try our best to understand this topic, so we are able to understand who Krishna is. Thank you for your motivation and inspiration, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, are there any other questions? If there are no other questions or comments, I have a small question, Mataji. Mataji, this Virat is different from the Virat Swarup that Krishna showed Arjun?
Yeah, this that I can clarify in the next class, Mataji. It needs a little bit of explanation. So I can clarify. Just remind me next class. I can clarify and make it short and sweet. But there is an explanation that is needed. We'll do
So
that.
it is different.
Yes,
it is different. It's not the same. Okay. Thank you very much. Any other questions? There are no questions. Can I request Indusa Mataji, are you able to end today's session? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Oh,
Just
sorry.
one comment. I'm sorry.
Yeah, carry on.
Yeah, it's really nice and it's very beautiful. You explain it so well. It's really inspiring, I'm learning it from you. It's very good. The way you make us explain, it's very difficult, the chapter, yes, of course. But your method is very good. Thank you so much, Mataji.
Oh, thank you, Ritu Mataji. Ritu Mataji has been special to me because I met her a couple of times in Berkeley Temple. Just so rare, because somebody from Kenya, Eldoret, and then, moving to Berkeley and meeting her in person was a very, very good feel. I would just go and hug her every time I meet her. So thank you,
Yeah.
Ritu Mataji. It's a very
Thank you
special.
so much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Indusa, can you end the session for today?
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji, so much for the class. Thank you, everyone, for finding time to join. I hope we are encouraged to look up more of this. Yeah, and I hope we'll still be strong to go on with this. So we can do one round of Hare Krishna Mahamantra for the glorification of all the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Hare,
Hare
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama, Rama
Rama
Rama,
Rama, Hare Hare. Vanchakha
Hare
Patarubhyascha,
Krishna.
Patarubhyascha,
Patitanam
Patitanam
Pavanebhyo
Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo
Namo
Namo Namah. Radhika Kasturi Mataji ki
Jai. Srila Prabhupada
Jai.
ki Jai.
Jai.
Granth Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai.
Yeah.
Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Thank you. Hare Krishna.